So, project management. It's a term you hear thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? Well, when you get right down to it, it's this incredible skill for turning any idea you have, big or small, into something real. And you know what the best part is? It's a skill that absolutely anyone can learn.
I mean, you've had them, right? We all have. That amazing flash of inspiration. Maybe for a new app, or starting a community garden, maybe a whole new business venture. Heck, even just finally reorganizing the garage. The idea itself, that's kind of the easy part. It's exciting, you can see all the potential.
But then comes the big question, doesn't it? How do you actually get from that initial spark to a finished, successful result? Without the whole thing falling apart or just fizzling out. Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right here.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Before we can even talk about managing a project, we've got to be super clear on what a project even is. Because, and this is important, it's not just any old task you do at work. Okay, so here's the official definition, but let's translate that into plain English. The Project Management Institute, the folks who literally wrote the book on this, say a project has three key ingredients. First, it's temporary. That means it has a definite start and a definite end. It doesn't go on forever. Second, it creates something unique. We're talking a new app, a new building, a one-off marketing campaign. And third, it's got constraints. You're always dealing with limits, like a budget or a deadline. So think about it. Routine work is like your daily commute. A project is like planning a cross-country road trip. It's a special, one-time thing. So if your project is that epic road trip, then project management, well, that's your map, your GPS, your travel guide, all rolled into one. It's the whole framework that keeps you from getting lost and ensures you actually get to your destination. I love that this official definition calls it an art, because it really, really is. This isn't just about spreadsheets and checking off boxes on a to-do list. It's the skillful act of wrangling all these different moving parts, people, money, materials, and getting them all to move in the same direction, all to hit one very specific goal. And this brings us to what might be the most important rule in all of project management, the triple constraint. Think of it like a three-way balancing act. You've got time, cost, and quality. Here's the catch. You can't change one without messing with the others. Want it done faster? That's going to cost you more. Or maybe the quality won't be as good. Want it cheaper? Okay, but it's probably going to take longer. Every single project manager on the planet lives and breathes this constant juggling act. So, how do you navigate this whole balancing act from start to finish? Well, the good news is that pretty much every project, I don't care if it's building a skyscraper or just planning a big party, follows a surprisingly predictable path. Knowing these four phases is like getting a sneak peek at the chapters of a book before you even start reading. It gives you a roadmap. And here's that roadmap. It's a four-step journey. We start with formulation. That's the big idea. Then we move to planning, the blueprint. After that is implementation, where all the work happens. And finally, termination, crossing the finish line. This is how you get from, hey, what if we, all the way to, wow, we actually did it. So let's start at the beginning. Phase 1, formulation, is all about the what and the why. This is where you're asking those really big fundamental questions. What are we actually trying to do here? And why does it even matter? The whole point is to make sure everybody on the team is looking at the same spot on the map before you even put the car in drive. Okay, now for phase 2, planning. This is where you create that super detailed blueprint. I'm talking schedules, budgets, figuring out who you need on the team, and, this is a big one, thinking about what could go wrong. I'm not kidding. A solid plan is probably the single best predictor of whether a project is going to succeed or fail. All right, enough talk. Phase 3, implementation, is all about the do. This is where the plan gets put into action. The team starts building, coding, writing, creating, whatever it is you're making. This is where you finally see your idea start to take shape and come to life. And yeah, this is usually where most of the time and money gets spent. And finally, we've made it to the finish line. Phase 4, termination. But look, this phase isn't just about stopping the work. It's about closing things out properly. That means handing over the finished product to the customer, looking back at what went right and what went wrong, celebrating the win with your team, and officially closing the books on the whole thing. But a plan is just a piece of paper, right? A map is useless without people to actually go on the journey. Projects are all about people, and how you organize that team is every bit as critical as the plan you've made.
And at the very center of it all, you have the project manager.
Think of this person as the captain of the ship. They are the one single person who's ultimately responsible for everything. Their job is to keep the team, the schedule, and the budget all pointing in the right direction to hit that final destination. So, how do you actually put the team together? Well, traditionally, there are two classic ways to do it. On one hand, you have the functional organization. This is where everyone stays in their regular department, like marketing or engineering, and just kind of chips in on the project. The upside, you get a ton of specialized expertise. The downside, things can move so slowly and get stuck in red tape. On the other hand, you have the pure project organization. Here, you pull a team together and their only job, their entire focus, is this one project. It's super fast, super focused. But what happens to those people when the project ends? It can create a lot of uncertainty.
So, what's the solution? Well, that leads us to what's probably the most common setup you'll see today, the matrix organization. It's basically a hybrid that tries to give you the best of both worlds. The project manager borrows experts from all the different departments for the life of the project. This way, you get a focused team, but everyone still has their regular department to go back to. It's flexible, it's efficient, and it's really popular because you get that project focus without losing the stability. Okay, so we've talked about phases and constraints and team structures, but you might be thinking, why bother with all this? What's the real payoff? Well, the benefits are huge, and trust me, they go way beyond just getting something done on time. I mean, look at this. In a world that's constantly changing, it helps you manage all that complexity. It makes everyone laser-focused on the end result, getting the job done. It brings teams together, helps you solve problems before they blow up, and makes everything more efficient. And really, what does all of that add up to? A happy customer. Someone who's satisfied because they got exactly what they asked for. That, right there, is the ultimate win.
So if you walk away with just one thing today, let it be this. Project management is not about red tape and boring meetings. It's the engine that turns ideas into reality. It gives you the structure, the focus, and the clear path you need to take something from just a thought in your head and make it real.
So there you have it. Project management gives you the map and the compass. All it's waiting for is your idea, your destination. So the only real question left to ask is, what idea will you bring to life?